Good afternoon, everybody. Sean Palmer, Seth Kamen's on the way. Seth and Sean Sports Radio. Sorry about last week. We were unfortunately detained and due to my new job. So here we are today. And you can follow us, as you can see on the bottom. You can follow myself, Sean Palmer, at SU Lawyer 2001, Seth at S Kamens on the Twitter. And Facebook, we have Seth and Sean Sports, and Seth Kamens is joining now. And we went to the right side, which is great, of the screen. Sean Palmer up there, Seth Kamens over there. And so today is our NBA preview, of which I got to tell you, I'm more excited for the NBA season this year than I've been in the past, just because I don't think there is one team that is going to dominate this year. As much as I like Golden State, as much as Golden State ran the table last year, look, they have some issues. They're older, certainly. And I think that there are more teams that could make a run. And there are certainly some teams that I'm really excited to see. And you know that. Big fan of what the Timberwolves did for today with Rudy Gobert. Maybe not for tomorrow, but certainly has not shown up so far in what they have done. But
yeah, I can't take seriously the first 4 games of the season. Hence, we're doing the preview a week late.
Well, and we're doing the preview a week late. But first, let's wrap up at least the eulogy for the Yankee season. So, should I just play taps at this point? I mean, the way I saw the playoffs, and you correct me if I'm wrong, you're a Yankee fan, is we saw what the Yankees are. The Yankees have one very, very good pitcher. I wouldn't even call him a stud at this point in Garrett Cole. One very, very good pitcher. They have one Hall of Fame tracking player in Aaron Judge. Besides that, there's a lot of mediocrity that's going on in the Yankees. I don't see much of any all-star, much of any top talent on that team. I think Judge carried him for almost 2 months. And then, you know what? He ran out of gas in the playoffs, and that's okay because one player should not make a playoff run.
I think you're in the ballpark. This is the team we kind of figured they were before the season.
Yes.
They were a tier below Houston. They were competitive or better than just about everybody else. Now, the way it came about, where you literally had everyone underachieved, and you had one stud who just had a Ruthian year. Great. And look, Nestor Cortez was a great story this year.
Sure.
The team is not built well. The players have regressed. Gleyber Torres 2 years ago was a potential MVP candidate.
Sure.
You look at some of the guys they brought in over the last couple of years that from their minor leagues. Andujar, gone. Forgot how to hit. Urshela, gone. Traded in the Donaldson deal.
Sanchez.
Torres has regressed. They played the sabermetric game. Home run or nothing. You're not beating good teams. You're not beating
good pitching. You're not being good pitching.
Yeah, you're not beating top-tier teams in this way. And the idea that you thought you were is ludicrous. Look, they have Stanton, who, if healthy, is a hell of a hitter. Judge had an incredible year. The question is, are they going to run this back? And if they do, are they even going to be relevant? Because I look at the American League East, and Toronto is going to be better. Boston is going to be better. They still can't beat Tampa Bay. They've never been able to. I don't think they would have beaten them if they played Toronto, if they played the Yankees in the series. And the Orioles, for the first time in God knows how long, are relevant. So I look around, and do I see a team that is, with or without Judge, that is better than these teams? Maybe. But I don't see a team I don't see players that have gotten better. I don't see good trades. I don't see good signings. I see Stephen Cohen about to make the Mets the back page of the New York Post.
So right now, the Yankees have a whole lot of arbitration guys, right? Gleyber Torres, Isaiah Kiner, Nestor Torres, Lou Trevino, all arbitration guys. But if you just look at the 8 guys, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys, and that includes Anthony Rizzo's player,
which is I think 16 million, which he's not going to take.
If he picks that up instead of going, they have $150 million committed in roster in salary.
What has been my feeling on Cashman?
Look, you think Cashman rides the tide and plays that game? Look, I don't think Cashman goes anywhere. I
think he should.
Well, today Steinbrenner came out in favor of Aaron Boone, so chances are he's not going anywhere. So you are running the proverbial thing back.
Yeah, they're gonna take the position that LeMahieu was hurt, Benintendi was hurt.
Yep.
The relievers fell apart.
Benintendi's a free agent. So
yeah, they're gonna try and sign him. And look, he's more of a kind of a player that fits what they need. When I'm watching that Indians series, I'm watching Stephen Kwan. That's the kind of player I think the Yankees need.
Yep.
Contact hitter, can run the bases.
Yep.
Can move, can be a real leadoff hitter. And I mean, I'm not going to question the Boone strategy on certain things, like bringing the one, like all the relievers pretty much fell apart.
Yep.
That's just what happened.
But the question is, Seth, did they underachieve or is this what they are?
And that's what they are. This is what they are.
And that's the bigger, that's not even a question.
I don't think they underachieved.
Well, you said you had Judge and a whole lot of underachievers.
No, okay. Let me rephrase. Did you think Torres 3 years ago? Do you think Torres is better when he thought he was?
Oh no, but is Torres today what he is, or is Torres 3 years ago what he is? That's the question.
The problem is I don't know, because what I thought he was going to be 3 years, he was better 3 years ago than he was.
Right. So the question is, over the last,
I don't think we're going to find out in a Yankee uniform.
Well, I don't think, or you can make the case that he is what he is now, and he overachieved 3 years ago, right? In his first year, right?
But my feeling is so many people on this team have gone in that direction, that whether they're here still or not, that my feeling is it's the team that they've built, the people that they put to make him better have not done that job.
Well,
because we've seen this with continuous players over the last couple
of
years.
Right. Well, baseball fans, just so you know, that $150 million doesn't cover one Aaron Judge.
True.
So, I mean, you're even worse off so 9 guys,
so
and if you add
190 to 200 million.
With 9 guys.
I know. And this is not George. This is not
even Steven if it Cohen. Was George. I'm not sure George puts off a $400 million payroll. No. I don't know.
I mean, the Dodgers seem to be interested in doing so.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's happening either. But right now they have 2 signed pitchers. They have Garrett Cole and Luis Severino, if they pick up that option. And you're right. The AL East is getting better, and they are not. No. And unless they go Stevie Cohen and go sign Jacob deGrom for $43 million or Chris Bassett for 25, right? Unless they play in that pool, they don't have the pitching prospects coming up.
No, their prospects are the catchers and their shortstops for the most part.
And one shortstop's going to play outfield, right? One shortstop's got to play outfield because they got 2 of them. So
yeah,
I mean,
Volpe and Press. You got a problem. The team was not built well. The team hasn't been built well, and we've made excuses all along. And in the first half of the year, it was phenomenal because everybody was overachieving.
Yeah.
And when everyone reverted to the norm, this is where, except for Judge, this is where we were.
And
And
if you look at their 24-man roster, and I'm scanning up and down it very quickly. First of all, only one of those 8 guys that signed for next year, 2 of those 8 guys that are signed for next year are under 30, and they're both 29.
yeah,
And once you get past that, the majority of their 24-man roster is over 27 or 28. Like, you're not at the young part of this crew. And that does not, like you said, unless they go all George or all Stevie Cohen, this is where we're at today with the Yankees. And maybe
because you can't rebuild with a $250 million payroll. That's not a rebuild.
And the question is whether Yankee fans would even tolerate a rebuild. And I think the Yankee fans are much like Knicks fans. If you told me it's 2 years and I'm in, like Ranger fans, right? Mm-hmm. If you told us look, I'm not a Ranger fan, but I read the letter and I was very, surprised that they did it, and actually very surprised that they did, and they come through, right? Give me 2 years, let me take this all down, and guess what? You become the Philadelphia Phillies, who are in the World Series right now. I mean, they tore it down, Seth. They didn't build it up the right way, according to me, at the beginning of the season. But they're in the World Series. I mean, you can argue all you want, but that you can argue left, right that this team doesn't make any sense, and I think they're going to get crushed in the World Series. But they made it, and that's only 2 out of 32 teams that make the World Series. So, hats off to them and to Robbie Thompson, who turned that team completely around. And guess where Robbie Thompson was a coach a couple of years back? The New York Yankees. Right. So, your prediction on the World Series, sir? I mean,
pain. Houston in 5.
Houston in 5. And I would go Houston in 6, but wouldn't be surprised if it's 5. Look, I think the Philadelphia Phillies are a great story. The fact that there are Mets on there makes me want to root for them, but then they're the Phillies, so I don't root for them at all.
Even as a Yankee fan, because of Dusty, I'm rooting for Houston.
They are a more enjoyable team. I enjoy watching that Philadelphia Phillies team just because it reminds me of just guys that were thrown together on a beer softball league and said, go win, and they've won. But other than that, yeah, I don't see any real connection. Okay. We'll touch upon for 5 to 6 minutes our New York Football Jets and New York Football Giants, because you can't not smile at what's going on, guys. I mean, 6-1 for the Giants, 5-2 for the Jets. I was in Denver for last week to watch the game, and I truly thought at the beginning of the season, if I was going to go to a Jets game in Denver, I was going to be 1-5. Or 2-4. I mean, you and I had the similar predictions. And here I turn around and I walk out of that stadium. Granted, Russell wasn't cooking that day, but 5-2. And the Giants walk away 6-1. And Seth, I don't have a reasonable rationale for that to be occurring. No.
Giants without their top 4 wide receivers or top 3 of their top 4 cornerbacks. It's incomprehensible, because it's not like they beat the Panthers, but it's not like they've beaten the Panthers 6 times.
Correct.
They beat Green Bay, they beat Baltimore, they beat Tennessee. They've beaten competent teams.
By the way, you may want to put Green Bay in that Carolina league right now.
Yeah, you get my point.
I do.
They didn't feast on the weak. They didn't go do I believe in the team? Well, I mean, at 6-1, it's kind of hard to not at least have some.
So there are 17 games in the season. You're down through 7. You got 9 left. If you win 4, and if you go 4-9,
you're going to the playoffs.
You're going to playoffs. If you win 3, you're probably going to the playoffs.
Nah, not in 9. Well, in the AL, in the NFC East, NFC, who the hell knows? 10 gets you there. I mean, it feels like they're gonna do it. I don't know how. I don't know how anyone. I mean, the only 2 coaching options I think you have for Coach of the Year are Dable and Pete Carroll.
And Robert Saleh.
And Robert Saleh, I guess, would be your number 3.
I mean, 5-2 is.
I mean, the Vikings are 5-2, and it's a nice story, but the Vikings have talent.
Yep.
I mean, the Giants don't.
Well, you're going to see with the Jets whether they have any talent coming back. They lost a lot.
That Vera Tucker. That was a painful win for you guys.
It was a painful win losing Alavera Tucker, losing Breece Hall, potentially other players. It was a very hard win. You never say hard win, but it was a hard win. The acquisition of James Robinson is a good one.
For the amount for a five.
For the five. You know me. I was rooting for Kareem Hunt, but understand that would have probably cost a 2 or a 3. But I'll take James Robinson. I'm pretty happy that Joe Douglas didn't wait on his ass and do nothing and just say, we'll do it from internal. He went out and got somebody. Even if Robinson does not work out, I'm happy that they did.
You take the shot.
They did something.
Both teams have been irrelevant for 10 years.
Yeah.
Have the Jets been irrelevant for 10 years? Or the Jets? I don't know if the Jets have been irrelevant.
Maybe 7 or 8, but it's close.
And look, the Giants need a quarterback. I mean, most likely, we thought the Giants needed a quarterback. But, I mean, my God, he's working his way into the goddamn MVP conversation, for God's sakes.
Ladies and gentlemen, if they re-sign him to a major contract, Seth Kamen's birthday gift will be a Daniel Jones jersey. It absolutely will be a Daniel Jones jersey.
I understood.
Yeah. I get Alex English cards. You get Daniel Jones jersey. I'm trying to figure out how that works.
No, because you're you and I'm me. I did get you a John Tavares bobblehead. So.
Yeah, you did. That's true.
Anyway, so, you look at this team and they play smart. They play tough.
And they don't turn the ball over.
And they don't turn the ball over, and they haven't beaten themselves.
And to be fair, that has been Daniel Jones' one biggest criticism over the last 3 years is that he runs and he fumbles. He throws that Eli pass. He's been a turnover machine. And now he's reined that in. Not to say that that's the only reason they're winning. But, Seth, if you go back 2 or 3 years with Daniel Jones and you take away all those turnovers, the Giants are in a lot more games than they would have been because he's fumbling the ball left and right when he runs. Is he running less?
No, he's running more. He's just holding on to the ball. I mean, he had 11 carries for 100 yards against Jacksonville. I know
so him and Justin Fields are becoming the new running back of the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I think what they've decided is this is similar to a Jalen Hurts. Similar to that niche, the asset that Daniel Jones has is his legs. And
there's nothing wrong until you get Robert Griffin III.
Right. So, but I think the way the Giants feel is we take our shot doing this. Maybe you sign him, and I was reading it. Maybe you sign him to a transitional tag.
Yep.
And you see how it plays out next year.
Because for the Giants, if they lose him due to an injury this year, they just cut him. So it doesn't matter anyway. I mean,
it's cold, but that's the truth.
It's the absolute truth.
Yeah, but their receivers have been horrifying. And
do they have any? Are there any on the roster?
There's some on the roster, but I mean, Kadarius. We talked about the great trade one great trade that Gettleman made with the Bears to get the extra first-round pick.
Yep.
They took a guy that no one else was probably going to take in the first round, and he's not playing. He's just nobody knows what to do with him. Kenny Golladay has been a bust beyond belief. Sterling
Shepard gets hurt.
Shepard's hurt again. So your starting point is the number 2 is your second-round pick, Wan'Dale Robinson, who's a player that is kind of in the Kadarius Toney mode.
Yeah.
But is not. And it seems to have more of a better, a little bit more to him than that. But he's not a number 1. Darius Slayton was going to be cut. He's the number 2. I mean, David Sills is better known as a quarterback than a wide receiver. I mean, they got nothing. Their tight end is out with an eye injury. I mean, you got Jones and Saquon has been one of the 2 best running backs in football this year. Right. Probably the best.
Right. And much like the Jets, they've been able to run the ball and they've been able to work behind the running game. And look, that's a recipe for success in the regular season. Whether it's a recipe for success in the playoffs.
Yeah, but there's no
first you got to get there, right?
Yeah, there's no expectation for the playoffs. I mean, there's no expectation of going anywhere with this.
Is there an expectation now for the playoffs? You're 6-1.
Yeah, I think there has to be. I think you have to figure if you can play 400 ball the rest of the season, you're going to the playoffs.
Notice he didn't say 500. He actually said 400 ball.
Will 10-7 get me there?
Yeah, in all likelihood. Yeah.
Then it's 400 ball.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll touch more upon the fantasy midseason next week when we get into. We've had an interesting fantasy couple of weeks, but when Sam Erlinger goes for $101 in your Fab League, ladies and gentlemen, the world has gone nuts, and he did this morning 101. So, by the way, we did not bid $102 or even close to that. We didn't even bid half. Okay. NBA. So right now we're a weekend. As you said, you don't judge anything in a weekend. The Heat are 1-3, the Nets are 1-2, and the Wizards are 3-1. So we can't start there. But let me talk to you about the most interesting team, at least in the Eastern Conference. It's the Nets. They're the most interesting. Whether they're the best is a different story. They are certainly the most interesting because nobody knows what they're getting out of this damn team. Nobody's known what they're getting out of them the last 3 years. Does this work? Will they make the playoffs? And if they do make the playoffs, do they ever run in them? Yes, I said playoffs.
Really? Playoffs? You think they're going to be an under 500 team?
I'm asking you.
No, of course they're going to make the playoffs.
Okay, so they're going to make the playoffs. Where are they going to – well, remember, this is a team that if Ben Simmons can immediately next week say, I'm not playing, would you be surprised? No. If Kyrie said next week, I'm not playing, would you be surprised? No. I support Yeezy. I'm not playing anymore. Like, I could see Kyrie doing something so stupid and off the charts. And granted, that is an incredibly stupid thing to say. But I could see him doing it because I
am glad I can wear Adidas again.
But I
literally had to stop wearing half of my clothes.
But Seth, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised by anything that comes out of Kyrie's mouth right now. So
that's a given. But I don't think he's going to make that noise in a contract year.
Okay, so where are your Nets going to sit?
Somewhere between 4 and 6, 3 and 6.
So you hope you get home court advantage, being the 3 or the 4. It's possible you could be but you're above the playing game is where you think you are. Okay. So an interesting team, or you just think no noise the whole year. They just come out, do what they do. Because they are definitely not a very deep team. They have.
Wait a minute. Now look, let's think about who they brought in. Royce O'Neal, solid starting forward. They brought in.
Where's your bigs? The
bigs is the problem. The bigs are Claxton, who's kind of a weird mix of things.
It's Claxton and Claxton.
Claxton and Day'Ron Sharpe is pretty much what you got.
Right. It's Claxton.
But look, you're going to have Simmons. Do I think Simmons is going to play? Yeah, I really do. I think Simmons is going to be incredibly motivated to play. Again, my gut feeling.
Okay.
I think this team is going to. I think you need to give this team a month or two to kind of get acclimated. Because look, we don't. It's not like it's a guy like Mike Conley who's coming in, who's a very prototypical point guard, and you merge it in. Nobody plays basketball like Ben Simmons, for better or for worse.
Right. I was just going to say, for good or for bad, nobody plays like
So I think it will take you time to get acclimated to Simmons. It'll take Durant and all these guys. Joe Harris is coming back. Seth Curry is going to come back. And look, Harris and Curry are consummate professionals. You're going to have a problem against against a guy like Embiid. You're going to have a problem against Cleveland. I think it's a terrible matchup for them with Mobley and Allen. But do I think they're going to make the playoffs? Yeah, they'll be a 4 or 5.
Here's your better question. What team are they not a bad matchup against? Because Okay, let's take away the Magic, the Pistons. Are they a
Yeah,
good matchup?
forget the meaningless teams.
Right. Are they a good matchup against the Heat? No. That's a horrible matchup with Bam. That is a horrible matchup.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't really worry about Bam from an offensive perspective. He scores 20 a game, but he's not if he's your main scorer. I look at the Nets.
No, he won't be your main scorer. That'll be Jimmy Butler.
I look at the Nets having a problem defending centers.
Okay, so let's keep going.
I'm not as concerned because of the way they shoot the ball. Again, Simmons aside.
So they're a horrible matchup with the Bulls. Horrible. Vucevic would be able to. I know he plays outside.
Vucevic will score 20, but I'll be honest. Other than Vucevic, agreed. Vucevic is a terrible matchup.
Yep. The Raptors are good. The Raptors are actually a good matchup with them.
The Raptors are a fun matchup. Actually.
Yep. The Hawks are a bad matchup with Capella.
Really? But Capella doesn't I see it differently. Capella is a nice player, but Capella's not going to be the defining difference in a playoff matchup.
But when you
He's
have
your fifth best player,
so here's my thing about this. I think people will play the Nets differently than they play any other team. I really do. I think they would focus on John Collins and Capella, and they'd move the ball down. I understand they have DeJounte Murray. I understand they have DeJounte Murray and Trae Young. I understand that. But I think when you see a team like the Nets, if you get Claxton in trouble or you get Deron Sharp in trouble, this is a team that has no depth, none down there. You're not going to play Durant at center and have him bang against Clint Capella. That is awful.
No, I think you're going to have Simmons playing the five defensively half the time.
Well,
and that works against the non.
It does, and I'll tell you who it works the best against, and that's the Knicks. Yes. The Knicks that works
fine,
amazingly against, because Mitchell Robinson can't score unless he's within 3 feet of the basket.
Right, unless it's an alley-oop or a putback. Right.
So the Cavaliers, bad matchup. Hornets, doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Celtics, not a great matchup, not a bad matchup.
Not terrible. I mean, look, Robert Williams, he's injured, I think, still, but we don't know what Boston's going to be. We just don't know what Boston's going to be with everything that happened this year.
That's correct. And the Bucks, I don't think that's a horrible matchup.
The Bucks are just a horrible matchup because the Bucks are just really good.
Yep.
I mean, look, in my opinion, Middleton's healthy. Boston at a minimum wins the East. Easily.
Okay. You said Middleton healthy, and
if Middleton is healthy last year during the playoffs, remember, he didn't play in all in the Boston series.
Right.
If Middleton is healthy, at a minimum, they win the East.
Oh, you said Boston wins the East.
No. I meant they beat Boston.
Right. Okay. That's why I didn't understand.
Fair enough. Yep. Remember, Boston and Miami were awful.
Yes.
In that Eastern Conference final. Absolutely terrible. And Miami still almost pulled it off.
Yep. No, I agree. So do you have the Bucks at the top of this list still?
I have the Bucks winning the conference.
Okay.
Whether they're 1 or 2 during the year, it doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
I think in a playoff series, I trust Milwaukee more than anybody else.
I would agree with that, but I think this is Embiid's year. I really do. I like what the Sixers bring to the table just overall. Look, I think they have with the addition of PJ Tucker and DeAnthony Melton, they have more depth than they've had in a long time. This team goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They could go 10 deep. I don't think they will, but they could.
Well, the 10 deep doesn't get you anywhere.
Why does it not get you anywhere?
Because that's a regular season play. Everyone shortens their bench in the
Okay, so let's shorten the bench, right? So Harden, Embiid, Maxey, PJ Tucker, Tobias Harris, Thibault, and maybe some Melton or Harrell.
So that gets you to 7. That gets you to 7. So here's the question: where do we play? Where is Harden? What is Harden at this point?
Well, and that's right. We're going to have to answer that.
That's where I don't know how, based on past experience. So supposedly, look, he took the pay cut. Supposedly, he came in really good shape for this year. Based on who they have now, again, and you said it's a solid 7.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. Embiid is probably the favorite for the MVP.
Yes, I think unless he craps the bed, he is the MVP because he's the guy that everybody's saying, well, it's about his time, right? He's the Charles Barkley of the MVP discussion, where Jokic has won it twice. Jokic would have to put up 35 points and 14 boards
Yeah,
and
he'd have to
12
be 35,
assists.
10, and 8.
What?
He'd have to put up like 35, 10, and 8, some ridiculous number.
Right. He'd have to be 30% better than everybody else in order to win a third straight.
Yeah, well, that's what happened with Giannis.
Right.
Well, I mean, you typically what happens is after 2, you want to give it to somebody else.
Right, exactly. So he will get. So I think Embiid, provided Embiid plays 65 to 68 games, I think he wins the MVP.
Okay, perfectly legit.
Yeah.
So are they your 1 seed?
I have the Sixers as my 1 seed. Absolutely the 1 seed. The Bucks is the 2. And look, the Bucks are 2-0, and the Sixers are 1-3. I mean, right. We're not concerned today. We're not concerned today. Look, if Robert Williams comes back, healthy, could the Celtics go on a run that they did last year? Absolutely. That team is. Look, the loss of Gallinari is a big loss for that team. It is. But what people don't remember is that they also got Malcolm Brogdon, which is a huge ball handling win.
Before Bogdanovich and before Gallinari and before the coaching travesty.
Right.
They were my regular season 1 seed.
Yeah.
Because they're still young enough, they play the regular season matters more to the younger teams.
Sure.
As opposed to a Bucks team where their 3 best players, and look, Giannis is 26, but Giannis feels like been around forever.
Right, but I think for Philly it actually matters. I think
it probably does too.
Right.
Because I am not sure I would trust Philly in Milwaukee in a game 7.
Correct. The other thing is about Boston, I will tell you one thing absolutely for certain. Marcus Smart will not win Defensive Player of the Year again. It will not happen. Under any there's no chance. Zero. I give it a 0.01% chance. Because what showed in the playoffs with him, where he got pretty much if Marcus Smart was that good defensively, Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson wouldn't have basically shot all over him in the finals. Like, he would have been able to shut one of them down, and he couldn't shoot anyway.
Look, he's not going to win because no guard ever wins Defensive Player of the Year.
But he did.
Before him, when was the last one?
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no chance of a repeat with him. Zero. Okay, so I have MB 2. MB. I have the Bucks 2. The Celtics are 3. Like, the Celtics are just there, right? As you said, they could be the number 1, they could be the number 2 or number 3. And then I got the Cavs. Like, I like the Cavs. I really like what they've put together. Why are you giving the smirk?
I do too, because I do too.
Yeah. I mean, and again,
also a very rootable team. A very easy team to root for. A very likable team to watch. Look, if they don't get injured, they're not in the play-in. They have big talents. They have talent signed for 3 or 4 years. You have Mobley, Allen, Garland, and Mitchell.
And Kevin Love's still coming off the bench.
Right. But you have those 4 guys, all 25 and younger, most likely, or at that 25, 26 age. And they're all signed for at least 3 more years. And
I love the fact that they have LeVert, Lopez, and Lowe as like that secondary core, right? Where they don't have to lead the team, but that's good leadership. Not that leadership could be quantified, but those are 3 guys that are not going to make rumbles. And then you got Ricky Rubio, who also is coming back from injury, but can do the same thing. This is a team that can make some noise in the playoffs. I don't think they're going to win. I think they can win a round, though, and then see where, like they did last year.
And I think they could win too. With the right match.
Perhaps could. So I like them as the 4. I like the Nets as the 5. And here's my thing. I love what the Raptors have. I do. I love the Raptors are probably one of the top 4 teams that I love to watch in the NBA. because they all bring the same thing to the table, right? They're all long. They're athletic. But the one thing that this team may not have, Seth, is enough shooting. Like, I love the team athletically, but what if that shooting just doesn't come around? Like,
Because the only pure shooter you really have is Van Vliet.
That's correct.
I mean, Trent is inconsistent. But
Anunoby is inconsistent.
Yeah, Siakam is a really nice player. Scotty Barnes is a really nice player, but they're not. They're more scorers than shooters.
That's right.
In the playoffs, you need shooters.
So I'm going to take the Raptors playing in the play-in game.
Okay, so who's your 6?
So my 6 is the Hawks. DeJounte Murray is the perfect guy to play with Trae Young, to me. They may be a little short. Murray's only 6'3", and Young, I believe, is 6'1". But as far as Murray is
Murray's a good enough defensive player to cover.
Damn good defensive player. Damn good. So I'll go so they're the 6. Raptors are the 7. Wait, I forgot somebody. Sorry. Let's move everybody down a peg. I'm putting the Heat. I forgot the Heat. So, yeah, I knew you were going to pull that. The Nets go 5. The Heat go 6. Where did I just go? The Hawks go 7. The Raptors go 8. I mean, this is a deep, deep conference.
This is the deepest we've ever seen this conference.
Right?
Going back to what do you call it? Going back to the 80s with the Bucks and the Celtics and the Hawks and the Sixers and the Pistons, they didn't go this deep with Atlanta's 2 years away from winning the conference finals. I think Cleveland could go to the conference finals this year.
Yeah, I can see that. I got the Knicks at 9, and then and then the Bulls at 10. So and then everybody else is just garbage again.
I think the Pistons actually are starting to interest me.
Well, because the Pistons are very much like the Cavs, right? They're a young team that we all like to watch the young team, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with watching a Cade Cunningham or a Jaden Ivey. I think Ivey, unfortunately, playing on the team with Cade Cunningham can't win the Rookie of the Year, as I don't think he'll get enough touches with Cunningham. So that's my Eastern Conference. So what do you got for me?
Nothing that different. I'll have the Celtics as the 1. I'll have the Bucks as the 2. I'll have Philly as the 3, Cleveland as the 4, kind of the Nets at the 5, Atlanta 6, Miami 7. Kind of along similar lines as you. I think Indiana's the worst team in the conference. I think they tank.
So do you think they trade Hield and Turner? And then who is they trading Hield and Turner to?
You know who they're trading them to. Because eventually the Lakers are going to give up the 2 first-round picks.
Does that make them that much better? Because I don't see how it does.
Doesn't matter. You've got to take the shot.
Because
you have no way of getting better with what you have.
That is true.
You can't shoot. That has been established.
What could they get for one of those picks? Could they get anything? So let's put Ross and one of them. Could you get anything for that? Anything worthy of value?
No. Because think about it. You're talking a 2027 pick.
Yeah.
How many GMs have 4 years of security where the pick is going to do them any good?
And you also have to add up $47 million, which means you have to give up multiple players because there isn't one player that does that anymore. Yeah. So, okay. Wow. Well, the Pacers tanking would be a first because they've never
been that team, but you're tanking for the generational talent.
True. And Halliburton,
should have been you.
So should Stephen Curry. So, I mean,
could have been you.
The thing is with Curry, we took Hill after Curry. We didn't get Hill before Curry, but Halliburton, for those that are unaware, OB, it was
the IMs I got from you.
Oh,
because I called you and I was just laughing on the
not
phone.
Not OB. And now they won't
Not that
even
Obi's
play.
not that Obi's a bad player.
But they
Obi
won't even
doesn't
play
belong
him now.
because it's not a Thibodeau fit.
Nope. All right.
So
Let's move on to the West. The West. Who's your exciting team here? So you have the team that you looked forward to in Cleveland. Who's your exciting team here in the West? Is there one?
there's a couple.
Okay.
I am actually really curious to watch Sacramento.
Yeah, well, we
Really
always are because we always
curious.
want them to do better than they eventually do.
But they have players.
They've always had players, Seth.
But they've had, this is the team that took Bagley over Luka.
They're 0-3 already. It just
I know. Look, I want to see Denver with Porter, with Murray. Memphis is a blast. I haven't watched.
I love how you're asking for the impossible. I want to see the Nuggets healthy. I want to see Sacramento do something well.
Well, look, I'm looking at the records right now.
I want to see Ben Simmons hit a free throw.
I do. I don't think I'm going to be seeing the San Antonio Spurs and the Utah Jazz at 3-1 each.
No.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to last very long.
Nope.
I think you have four teams that can realistically win the conference.
That's true.
I think that's what you got.
So I've been a Ja Morant fan. It's not hard to be a Ja Morant fan, but I've touted him a lot on this podcast. I've liked watching him grow. Look, I can see the Grizzlies taking the 1 seed. I can easily taking the 1 seed. They are that talented, that team, and they're that.
And they are going to, and that is why he is my MVP.
He is your MVP. Okay, so I can see that. Like you, I root for the Kings because somebody has to root for the Kings.
Well, you know why I root for the Kings also, I think.
It's Mitch Richmond.
Of course.
Right. I root for the Kings because they have a really, really awesome logo and because they haven't won in forever. It's the reason I root for the Seattle Mariners.
It's 2002 or 2003. When the refs screwed up the Game 7.
No, but they haven't made the playoffs in forever either.
Yeah, they're the Seattle Mariners of the NBA.
So I want to root for them, right? I have for some reason, some interest in the Timberwolves and have forever, right? Since Kevin Garnett. So I like them. But more importantly, I want to see the fit on Minnesota. Like that fit could be amazing and it could be awful all at the same time. Because much like I just maligned, what team did I malign for shooting? Oh, Toronto. I can malign this team for shooting too. Because I'm not sure where the shooting comes from on the Timberwolves. Who? Yeah. Who's it?
Towns. Towns is your shooter.
Maybe.
No, I mean he's a shooter.
Right.
He's become a perimeter 5, which is why you could make the Gobert deal. But Russell's not a shooter.
Right.
Edwards is not really a shooter.
Kyle Anderson, not a shooter. Torian Prince, not a shooter. Austin Rivers, I didn't even think was still in the league, and he's not a shooter. I mean, Bryn Forbes is actually a shooter. He came over from San Antonio. And Jordan McLaughlin has the best beard in the NBA, but still not a shooter. Do you know who Jordan McLaughlin is?
Who is?
Who Jordan McLaughlin is.
Only because I saw him in the playoffs last year.
So you know the beard that I'm referring to.
Yeah.
The best beard in the NBA. But anyway, better than the beard, actually. Better than Harden's beard. But I want to see that. Okay, so we're both in agreement that right now the top 7, 8 teams will not look anything like what they will at the end. Where are your Trailblazers running?
Probably playing.
Okay, that's better than a lot, right? I mean, certainly better than last year, where I had them going to the conference finals. By the way, at the beginning of last year.
Don't worry. I remember a couple years ago, I had the Houston Texans going to the Super Bowl, and they went 2-14. So
did you really?
I think so. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
That was the year after they went to the conference semis, and they had
right.
Watson and Watt, and Watt got her first game of the season. Just went.
So Trailblazers in the play-in. Suns. Where are the Suns going to be?
Suns would be around the three seed.
And the Spurs.
Spurs are going to end up winning 25 games.
So who are let's put it this way. Right now, the Lakers are 0-3. Give me an over-under on what the Lakers win. Remember, there are 82 games in an NBA season.
They're pretty much a 500 team. I would say around 40, 41 games.
Okay, and I would say even less. I would say 35 to 36. Like it's still less.
I just don't think they're a 35-win team. I just think they're better. I don't think LeBron James and Anthony Davis are going to be on a 35-win team.
Here's the thing. How many games are LeBron James and Anthony Davis going to play together?
Don't know. That the reason they were so bad last year is how many games were they both out? Supposedly Davis came in better shape.
And now they have less depth than they did last year.
Yeah.
So here's another question.
They gave Pelinka an extension. Does it sound like the Lakers sound like the Yankees?
Yeah, 100%. But they won a championship in the last 5 years, the last 9 years, which the Yankees have not. But that brings my next question. If you had a chance to redo the Anthony Davis deal, do you still do it?
If you're the Lakers?
Yeah.
Yeah, you win the title.
Even if it's the COVID title?
Doesn't matter.
Still a title.
You win the title.
Because that trade is going to reverberate. I will tell you, if that pick, Seth, who would have ever thought the Pelicans could have 2 lottery picks this year? I mean, it's possible.
Neither of them theirs.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, that team is absolutely set up for the 2024 season, 2025 season.
Right.
They're a year or two away.
It may or may be set up this year, but the fact is, if they go into the lottery and the Lakers go into the lottery, they're going to have 2 lottery picks in this year. Because who would have thought that the Lakers could have combusted as badly as they have? And that Russell Westbrook trade is exactly what did it. They could have done 1,000 things with that $49 million. And they chose to do that. That trade was Kuzma, Caldwell Pope, and there was another piece. And I don't remember what the other piece was. But it doesn't matter. You'd be better off with those 3 guys than you would Russell Westbrook right now. Okay. So give me your 1 seed in the West. Are we
Memphis.
going with the Warriors?
Memphis. Warriors are the
Memphis.
3.
So who's the 2 is the Suns?
2 is the Suns.
Okay, keep going. 4?
Denver.
5? I know you can do math. I don't have to keep
Clippers.
announcing me. Clippers.
I'm not as sold on the Clippers as everybody else seems to be. I'm having a little trouble swallowing that pretty much they have 2 studs. We don't know what Wall is. And Kawhi hasn't played in 2 years. I have trouble getting them as a regular season team, getting them there or wherever.
Now, do you have some confidence once they get there?
No, because I have no idea if they can stay healthy.
Okay. All right. So you got to 5 with the Clippers. Keep going. 6?
Pelicans.
7?
Timberwolves.
Okay, you're in the playing game. So 7, 8.
Did I skip a team? Did I say the Nuggets?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
All right.
Sorry,
so let's start all over.
So we got the conference as a whole.
So Grizzlies are 1.
Grizzlies
Suns
are 1.
2.
Suns are 2. Golden State's 3. Denver is 4.
Okay. You had Clippers at 5.
Okay, I think I did have that then.
You may have. Okay, Clippers at 5.
Clippers at 5. Pelicans at 6.
You had the Wolves at 7.
Wolves at 7. The Lakers at 8. The Mavericks at 9. Portland at 10.
So that means the Lakers and Mavericks play in the first round. Or in the play-in round.
Yeah.
Play-in round? Yeah, play-in round. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So let's go with I said the Grizzlies. I'll say the Grizzlies with you too. So Grizzlies are 1. I'm going to flip your 2 and your 3. So we're going with the Warriors at 2, the Suns at 3, 4 being the Nuggets, 5. By the way, you didn't have the Kings in there, which is bothering me.
Where would you have them?
Oh, I'm taking the Kings over the Lakers. Just I don't want the Lakers to win the.
I don't want the.
Like I don't. If they're 35 wins, I don't think they get in.
No, again, 41-42 gets you to about the 8th seed.
Right. So let's go with 4 being the Nuggets, 5 being the Wolves, 6 being the Clippers, 7. Who am I missing? 7 being the Pelicans. I just don't think they stay healthy. 7 being the Pelicans, 8 being the Mavs. I'm missing somebody in here. 8 being the Mavs, 9 being the Trailblazers, and 10 being the Kings. Or 9 being the Kings, 10 being the Trailblazers. I don't think it really matters. I think the Trailblazers are a really exciting team this year. I think
they're fun.
They are fun. They are young. All right, so give me your semifinalists for both conferences, please.
Okay, so we'll go. I forget my exact order, but I'll say for all intents and purposes, I had the Celtics, the Bucks.
Let's just say the order doesn't matter. If you get it wrong, you get it wrong. Who are your semifinalists?
Say the Bucks over the Sixers. I'll say Cleveland over the Celtics.
Okay. I have Sixers over the Celtics, and then the Bucks over who do I have? The Bucks over the Nets, and then I have the Sixers over the Bucks, which I think will be a really entertaining series.
It would be. I'll have the Bucks over Cleveland. I think Cleveland makes kind of that Atlanta-esque run.
Yeah, although Atlanta never got back there.
But they still made the run though.
Okay, I'll go with By the way, I think the Raptors lose in the first round. No matter what, I think their shooting just doesn't come around. Okay, so in the West, I got the Suns, the Warriors over the Suns, and the Grizzlies over the Nuggets. And then Grizzlies and Nuggets I would love that series. I think a healthy on both sides would be great. And now I'll take Memphis over the Warriors because I don't want the Warriors to win again at all.
I get it. I'm going to say, look, I'm going to take, I agree. I have Golden State over the Suns because that's the 2-3 that I have.
Yep.
So I'll have Memphis. And I think my 4-5 was Denver Clippers. And also I have Memphis, Denver, which, as you said, is a lot of fun. I'm going to take Denver.
Okay. You got Denver in the finals, or you got them over the Warriors?
You know what? What the hell? Denver over Golden State.
Okay, so you have Denver and Milwaukee, and
it's the NBA dream. Adam Silver is looking at those ratings and saying this is the greatest thing that's ever happened.
So you got Denver and Milwaukee.
Denver was right there before Murray and Porter got hurt.
They were.
So this is a huge if.
Porter's the biggest if in the NBA.
Yeah.
Porter's a $30 million if. Like, he's actually worse than Ben Simmons as far as an if is concerned. Is Porter playing right now? I don't know if he's back. Hold on. Really quickly, Nuggets. Yeah, he played. He played 28 minutes the other night with 22 points. Okay. Maybe okay, so your MVP is Ja Morant. My MVP is Joel Embiid because everybody gets tired of Joel Embiid not winning one. Who's your coach of the year?
Taylor Jenkins.
Okay, my coach of the year is whoever that coach is for the Celtics, because if he can pull out a 2 or a 3 seed with that roster and no Robert Williams and the whole Ime Udoka, I think he actually keeps the job too. I don't think Udoka comes back. I think that's done and done. It's not going to be an Alex Cora situation because the team won't falter. Like, the team will just be good. Okay, and who is your rookie of the year?
Kenyon Murray.
Okay, that was mine as well. And who is your sixth man of the year? Can't be Tyler Hero because he's now playing.
No, I'll probably go with Brogdon.
With Brogdon? Okay, I am going to go with Karis LeVert because I don't know if he's starting. I don't think he is.
But that just means he can be healthy. If he's
Right.
healthy,
And he's always been one of those guys that if he is healthy, 20 points is well within the range of Karis LeVert. Well within the range. Okay, we got 5 minutes left. I'll go first. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, hence I am wearing the pink. I know it's not just for style. I don't really look good in this color, so we'll go with that. So be cognizant of that as you tune into all the sporting events in the month of October. I got to tell you, going to Denver was a lot of fun. If you have the chance to go to any stadium, I suggest you do it, just in general, even as an away fans. But more importantly, the people in Denver are so damn nice. It's kind of sickening. Like the fact that they came up to us and were asking us for help, asking us if they could help us. And I just turned around to my buddy and said, what would have happened if somebody came to a New Yorker at Giant Stadium and asked them for help? They'd say, your team is over there. Like, we would not help. Like, it is so nice sometimes.
Yes, we would.
Really? Really?
Stop it. You're too far gone.
It's possible.
Look, we're not talking about the people in Staten Island who listen to the Fan 23 and a half hours
Fair
a day,
enough.
who live in their parents' basement. Those people would. New Yorkers get a crappy rap on that. I think that's.
Does Philly get a better rap or a worse rap?
Philly's certifiably insane.
Okay, so.
I mean, that's
so with that,
world.
next week we're going to talk fantasy midseason, where we're at, what trades you might want to make, and we'll talk a little bit about the World Series. We touched upon it today.
I do have a record. I now have a 2 QB league where I don't have a quarterback who's starting this week. None of them are on.
Do you have a chance of winning?
I'm underdog as of now by 50. So I'm doubting it.
Not going to happen.
No.
You got to hope somebody tears an Achilles in the next 3.
I can't.
Do you have Andy? Is Andy Dalton available? Because
I'm
Winston
trying to
won't start.
I put in a bid. So my quarterbacks that I have are Herbert on bye, Winston, Zappy.
So when do we find out about your Andy Dalton?
It goes tonight.
Okay.
So I bid on him and I bid Sam Ehlinger. Surprisingly, not for $101.
Not surprising, actually, because he's not worth $101.
Absolutely not.
But
so I also only have one running back. My team is so badly hurt. There's not much I can do.
You're the New York Jets.
I am. So interesting week for Jim Irsay. We start off with him being the first owner to say that Daniel Snyder should not be owning the team anymore. And of course, Daniel Snyder comes back and says, I have dirt on everybody, because that's how Daniel Snyder works.
Right.
Then he apparently is the catalyst for the benching of Matt Ryan.
I don't have a problem with that.
As long as we get Sam.
No, I don't have a problem with him doing it, because he sees no upside. No upside to him.
Right. And I have no problem with, look, we all thought Chris Ballard is a really good GM. We've all thought Frank Reich was a good coach. This team has absolutely regressed. And the issue, the thought was the issue was Wentz. And they were going to, and good for Irsay for saying, for making his point, but not being the overbearing or out of control owner, but taking a position that logically makes sense, because Ryan's not getting you there.
And next year, they don't have to pay him $27 million. They only have to pay him $12.
They have to pay him $12. So you see if Erlinger can be your quarterback.
And if not,
and if he can, then this is a 6 quarterback draft.
Now, you did say it to me 2 weeks ago. You said, I didn't realize how bad the arm of Matt Ryan was. And you could see it.
It felt like watching, if you ever played Super Tecmo Bowl, it felt like watching Steve Grogan.
I was going to say watching Chad Pennington every single week for 4 years.
But no, you can't even, it's not even comparable. You watch a video on YouTube of Steve Grogan throwing the ball in Tecmo Bowl. The ball goes up.
So with that, we'll say goodbye, everybody. Have a great week. This was a great show. And for Seth Kamens, I'm Sean Palmer. Enjoy yourselves, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.